Hello and welcome to IRL F2 here in Brazil for round 9. I would normally be joined by Lordy, but today he's feeling a little sick, so today it's going to be Cameron Young, so hello Cameron.
Hello.
Of course, today is a championship situation. Jared Fosbury not scoring too much points last week. Of course, Adrian getting a podium. So, really helping himself out, and of course, Paco Suarez up there last week. Maybe he can be up there again. Certainly, Jared Fosbury would need the help because he is the one at the deficit in second place in the championship. So we're seeing a few people setting laps at the moment. I do need to do a tweet quickly, so if you can find someone, Cameron, to commentate over. And
I think we'll go with Louis Quinlan, who's the first man out on track to settle that. He's on mediums though, but
on
I
board
think
with him now.
it's going to be a nice banker for him. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look very stable at all. I don't know whether my connection's awful, but maybe he's just struggling out on track a bit. Nice final corner though from Louis. Coming up to like probably like a mid to high 7, I'm guessing, on mediums, which wouldn't be that bad of a banker. Yeah, high 7 there. Not a bad lap from Louis.
Yeah, 7.9. Yeah, it's certainly not too bad considering the mediums. Paco Suarez is next up, another medium lap with a 9.5, and Tim Staines with a 7.3. So I'm sure we'll see someone in the 6s, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. Adrian Villarreal, of course, going for the championship. He can't win it this week. He's not too far ahead, or at least not far enough. Certainly the podium helping out. I think he could probably take it next week if things go well from here, but that remains to be seen. Of course, right now, putting him out on pole position. His teammate retiring from the session.
In the pit lane, I think. Yeah.
Obviously going for an alternate strat then. Certainly splitting himself apart from his teammate. Tom Jewell now? He's set a lap.
He's
actually crashed. In turn 5, or at least going through turn 5. Probably up on the curb and then spin into the barrier on the left, I would say. Obviously can't spectate him, but...
That's a very odd place to crash.
Yeah, we'll actually get a view from Reese March. There you go. Oh, he's actually on the track. So he hit the wall and then ricocheted off it back onto the track. He's covering it completely there as his car gets taken away. So that's quite the crash.
Yeah,
he said he wanted a setup for a while. I'm not sure if he got it or not, but certainly whatever setup he did get, not working out too well for him.
Well, I mean, yeah, at the minute, that's not good for Tom Jewell at all. Obviously, he's not exactly within the championship fight, but maybe he would like to push to see to show him that he's a true contender for F1 next season. That's not a good start.
Just want to say Adrian Lennon there, the other Adrian in the Racing Point, setting a 7.2 to put himself second. Alan Wagner is on a lap going through turn 4. Didn't take too much curb on the exit, which certainly wouldn't do too good. You can certainly gain a little bit of time going out a little bit wider, but he decides not to. Now going through the twisty sections of Sector 2, certainly where pretty much all your time is going to be gained. Certainly a lot in turn 2 as well. People maybe getting a little afraid from corner cutting, but he's going to be coming through now to the final corner in a few moments, or at least the final corner that matters. There's 3 more after this, flat out. Purple apparently in Sector 2, so certainly not going to be a bad lap from Alan. Of course, he is someone who is used to being up there, you can say. He was certainly up there in Austria. He thought maybe he could have taken the win across the line. Now, not enough, a 7.2 to put him second.
Not a bad lap. Grid's very close at the minute, actually. Like, very close. Obviously, Adrian's out in front, but I think there's a lot of drivers like Jared, like Louis, that definitely can set quicker laps, and even Paco.
Okay. just trying to do the tweet. So if you can out on the lap, I don't think there is. Maybe Louis Quinlan. Yeah, Louis Quinlan's on the lap. If you want to take him, Cameron.
Okay, so do you want to brake just after the 100 metre board? Nice, does it? He's down 0.5, very good for a sec. The purple apparently, for Louis. Nicely through. Yeah, no, you want to brake just after the 50 metre board. Keeps it in 8th and then 6th. Yeah, that's very tidy from Louis Quinlan. Nice braking down into here. Locks up a tiny bit. Maybe that's just a on-screen effect. Nice there. Little tweak on the throttle. Bit of a lock up there. It's going to cost him quite a bit of time. See why he comes across the second split. Okay, he's 8/10 up. Not perfect, but it's not going to be a bad lap from him at all. The last corner was very nice as well from Louis Quinlan. Yeah, this could be a very good lap on his 7.9 on medium tyres. So up to the line, he's taking the shortest route up to the line. It's going to be a 7-1. Just yeah, there's a lot of improvements for him, but very good lap from Louis.
Yeah, certainly is 7.1, getting a little bit closer to Adrian Villarreal. Not close enough though. Only one in the 6s, Adrian, at the moment. I'd say we'll see a few more people in the 6s, and I'm sure that's not Adrian's full pace. Of course, the first lap you said is a 6.9. I'm sure he can go a little bit quicker. Of course, that remains to be seen. Antonio Moretti in the Ferrari. Of course, he's a reserve. He was a full driver in the Red Bull. Couldn't make the races as much, but he's a reserve now. He's able to make it today. Certainly thinks that he could have been up there a little bit more earlier in the season, but he's gonna... Okay, well, that's not really a lap. Maybe
I think he's still on a lap now.
Yeah, I think he is.
Oh, he's invalidated.
Never mind.
Adrian's on a lap.
Adrian is gonna improve to a 0.8. Just extends his podium, his pole advantage a little bit more. As Louis Quinlan into the pits. Adrian Lennon.
The Renaults are doing slipstream. Looks like.
Oh, they are actually. I should be on board with this. Jared Fosbury getting a little bit of slipstream from Paco Suarez. Paco did have a good race last week. Maybe he's going to be able to set a decent enough time for himself today, as he's going to be slipstreaming all the way down to the line. We'll see how well he can do. 7.1 for Jared Fosbury. He was actually bigging himself up earlier, saying he was doing all these, 6s and stuff. He's not in the 6s yet, as a 7.1 of course, but maybe he can do it. There's still 8 minutes left, but even with slipstream from his teammate, can't do it at the moment, so gonna have to be a little bit quicker to, especially for the title as well, title fight. Just not quick enough.
Not quite, considering he was bigging himself up, saying he can do 0.3s. That is 6, by the way, so very naive from Jared.
Yeah, his teammate, of course, is going to be setting a lap right after. He's on the softs. We'll see how much he's up on his time. He has set a time on the mediums previously, up by 2 seconds, and actually he's apparently purple in the middle sector. We'll see how competitive this time is going to be. Of course, Paco, a little bit of confidence getting a P3 last week in France. We'll see how well he can do here in Brazil today. He's going to cross the line, and, well, it's actually going to be a 7.2 and put him 5th. Actually, a lot of 7.2s and 1s being set. Actually, very close grid, to be fair.
Yeah, very close. I think, to be fair, if Jared didn't have the slipstream, him and Paco would be pretty much on par, so I don't know whether they're going to do Paco gets a slipstream or whether they just focus on Jared because he's in the title fight. I don't know, but I think I think Jared should definitely give it back to Paco, as Paco is going to help him a lot here with the slipstream.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, down that very long straight, slipstream's going to do quite a bit. Of course, that remains to be seen if that can boost him to pole, namely Jared Fosbury. He really needs a pole position. He really needs a win, of course. Last win in Japan, only taking 1 win this season. Interestingly, though, Adrian Villarreal, as seemingly Louis Quinlan backs off on his time. He was starting a lap. But Yeah, Adrian Villarreal only actually taking 2 wins. You'd think he'd have taken a lot more by now. He's taken most of the poles. But in terms of actually winning the races, he hasn't been quite on it. So I'm sure he'll be looking for a win as ever. And I think a pole position maybe for Adrian today is what you'd kind of expect. A win, though, certainly a different story.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, the McLaren's about. Yeah, I was about to say, very nice lap. I was just watching on board with him.
Oh,
His second sector split was very, very fast, and yeah, well, I mean, just proves that he can be up there a lot. Yeah. I need to know names. Oh dear.
Yeah, that's of course Kieran
Yeah.
Spears in first. Just so you know, Alan Wagner's teammate pulling it up to third. Actually, now 3 people going into the sixes, and of course a 0.7, very strong lap from Kieran. And well, it's going to take a little bit from Adrian Villarreal to go back with a quicker lap time. Of course, he's going to be finishing up Sector 1, almost a 10th up in Sector 1, so clearly not doing too well through the first few corners. Of course, on this lap quite well. He's going to be coming through the double right-hander now. Got to take the second part flat, especially in quali, to gain a lot of time. And now sudden braking through the twisty S section here in Sector 2. And we'll, of course, be seeing how much he's up on his time. Looks like a very good lap at the moment, as he's going to be finishing up with Sector 2, approaching the final corner. He's done all the work pretty much, and there it is, purple in Sector 2, 2/10 up on his time. Of course, currently on a 0.8. This should put him on a 0.6, or at least close to a 0.6, maybe a 0.7. We'll see how close it is going to be between himself and Kieran Spears. Kieran's on pole at the moment. Can Adrian do anything to... Yes, he can. A 0.7, actually very close between the two. Only 2
nice
hundredths there, I think, the gap. A little more than that.
Jared's on lap, and it doesn't improve. Very disappointing from Jared, considering he was setting laps, but this time he didn't have the slipstream effect. So I wonder if he's going to give it to Paco on this lap.
Thank you. Did I? Oh no. I'm not going to say what I just did, and hopefully no one will ever know what I just did.
Nope.
Just delete that tweet. We are not racing at France this week.
Oh dear. It does look like the Renaults are going to be using the slipstream of Paco this time.
Brazil, there we go. Nothing happened. I swear.
Paco's a 10th up. Oh, it's a horrible fire. Yeah, he's mucked his lap up.
I was gonna go more
curse.
Yeah, I was about to hype him up there a little bit. Maybe Paco Suarez a bit of a turning point. Certainly was his podium last week. A very big turning point since season 6. He's been having DNFs and bad races. So I mean, for his sake, I hope he's up there. Especially Jared Fosbury's gonna be hoping that he's up there. First, well, top 4 in the pit lane. Louis Quinn now gonna be doing his lap. We'll see how much he's up in the first sector, or really first 3 corners. He's up a little bit. It's not purple at the moment, so certainly can do a little bit better, but he's going to be going through the double right-hander of turns 6 and 7 here. Got to take the second part pretty much flat out, and then a sudden braking, of course, down into turn 8, and then very long turn 9. Of course, right now on a 7.1, really going to be looking for a lot of time here in this second sector. That's where you gain pretty much all your time, as he's going to be going to the flat left-hander up to the final corner that matters. He's apparently purple. Of course, it's said people are purple in the second sector a lot. He is quite literally almost a 10th up on his time. We'll be seeing how much more of that will be. Maybe he can pressure Alan Wagner for P4. He's going to be crossing the line now. No, still remains P5 at 7.0 though. A little bit of an improvement. Not too bad of a lap, but just not enough. Adrian Villarreal actually side by side a little bit with Tim Bristains there. Locally, neither of them on the lap.
Surprised both Mercedes went out as early as they did. None of them not wanting the last ditched effort of trying to settle out with the ever improving track. Quite interesting, really. Maybe they think that the track isn't going to improve as much as what other people think they will.
Maybe as Louis Quinlan is certainly finished for the day. Adrian Villarreal now opening up DRS to approach the start of his final lap. Of course, right now on a 6.7, it looks like Kieran the most likely to challenge him, but you can't count out people like Alan Wagner as well, because he's certainly been up there in quali and the race as well. There's an invalidation for Adrian Villarreal, so he's not going to be improving. Kieran Spears is going through turn 6 and 7. He's still on his outlap. He's got his teammate quite close to him, maybe a little bit of slipstream between them. Jared Fosbury now is going to be starting his lap, so we'll see how much more he can improve. Right now on a 7.1, he says he's capable of 6s. This is really where we'll see if it's just him talking or if he can actually do it now. Coming up to Sector 1, we'll see how much he's up on his time. A tiny bit up, very, very little, but up on his time nonetheless. Now, going to be going through turns 6 and 7 as Louis Quinn, or no, actually, that's his teammate Reece March off, now retiring from the session. Hopefully he doesn't get in anyone's way. Jared Fosbury's going to be looking for a lot of time to the race. Really got to attack these corners and really give it all or nothing. At the moment, he's 6th, so he's going to need to be going up by quite a few tenths, and certainly a lot to be challenging for this pole position, which he really needs to do today. Up by 3 tenths of a second as he approaches the start-finish straight. Of course, he's done all the work pretty much. It's flat out from here to the line. We'll see how much he's able to be up. It looks like about a 0.8, maybe a 0.7. He's going to cross the line. Can he do anything? Up to a 6.9, but he's not going to be able to pull it on pole position. 4th for Jared Fosbury. Alan Wagner now is actually following his teammate. Will go on board. No, he's not. Alan Wagner is actually the one in front. I think that was a Ferrari ahead. That's actually Antonio Moretti who's going to be crossing the line, and then Alan Wagner right after him. So they're both going to be approaching the line. We'll see how well Antonio Moretti does. He is a good driver, maybe a little underrated. He hasn't really been able to show his pace. There you go. A 6.8, very, very good lap for him, as Alan Wagner seemingly not able to improve. He remains in P6, and well, I think that's pretty much it. Actually, you know, Kieran Spears can do something. Maybe no, I think he had wing damage there.
He crashed. I think he bottled his lap throughout the middle sector. When I was on board with him, he was about 300th up, so to take him on to pole by a slight amount. But he must have mucked up the middle sector somewhere.
Well, then, of course, it is the championship leader Adrian Villarreal taking the pole position as he needs to do. Kieran Spears only just behind him, and certainly if he was able to get in another lap, maybe could have beat him. You never know. The run turn one's going to be quite interesting. Tonio Moretti getting a 3rd place, he'll be happy with that after not really having a great start. And then that's Adrian Lennon, Jared Fosbury, Alan Wagner, Louis Kuhn, Paco, Tim, Reese, Tom, Thiago, and Dominic Hurley. Dominic Hurley, of course, serving a quali ban, so I mean, he'll get a nice set of tyres starting in the 13th, not too bad. Thiago also doing the same. He didn't actually have a quali ban, he just did it on his own merit, so certainly some people thinking the alternate strat's going to be the better strat, and it certainly is if you saw F1 yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, well, considering there's not obviously a lot of people like in F1, the ultra strat isn't a bad option at all, because softs at the end of the race are rapid. It just depends if you get caught up in traffic or not. So, for the it is a very good strategy. It just depends if the drivers can pull it off or not.
So we have to wait for people to sort out their strategies. It feels like an eternity for us, but for them it certainly doesn't.
For them, they rush in to see it. They've selected softs instead of mediums.
And Adrian is going to be taking us away for the formation lap, as I'll get the stuff up on the screen.
It's interesting.
Just going to quickly check the proper gap between the top two. Really quick.
It might have been 16 points, somewhere around that, I think. Maybe 18.
Apparently Kieran had an FPS drop in the middle sector, and that's why he wasn't able to put it on pole position. So
that's a big shame.
Yeah, certainly to run down to turn 1, though. He's got the inside line, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully for his sake, he'll be able to at least challenge and have a go into turn 1 to kind of a little bit of justice for the FPS drop then. But in terms of the championship standings between the top two, Adrian Villarreal on 124 points, Jared Fosbury on 109. So, quick maths, that's 15 points of a gap.
Oh, that was close.
But yeah, obviously Adrian also starting on pole, so he's got the best chance. Jared Fosbury down in 5th. If Jared Fosbury were to win this race, he could pretty much cut the gap in half, and certainly a fastest lap point would also help him out as well. But at the moment, he's starting 5th. He's going to have to do some overtaking first. And I mean, we never know, like maybe Kieran's hungry into turn 1 and they crash, Jared Fosbury goes through and surge.
Well,
you just never know.
Kieran's very reluctant to stay with Adrian. Bagged up quite a lot. Maybe
yeah,
once,
really did.
Maybe once Adrian jumps very cold tires. I don't know, but maybe this is going to be some spicy battle between these two.
As they line up now, so we're just waiting for the game to get it started. There we go, so it's 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go, and it looks like the McLaren has actually got a better start, and he's going to be on the inside leading into turn 1, the McLaren. Kieran Spears getting a much better start. Adrian Villarreal is going to have to stick behind the Ferrari going side by side with the Racing Point in the background. That's Antonio Moretti trying to defend his P3 still side by side. Jared Fosbury is still sitting in 5th place. He hasn't been able to make up any places. I think that's Tim Brusilians down the inside there.
Oh,
they're going to have
Jared's
to
been
follow
hit.
through
Jared's been
here.
hit. Oh, Jared's drowned. Massive contact.
Yeah, it looks like Alan Wagner also involved in that, maybe. And, well, Jared Fosbury now last. Adrian Villarreal didn't get the best start, though, and he's down to 2nd, so it's not going to be the perfect start for Adrian, but knowing his title rivals down in 13th, I'm sure that's going to be a little bit of a confidence boost, as they have a virtual safety car to calm their nerves a little bit, get a little more into the groove, and then really start making progress on trying to get the win. I'm sure Antonio Moretti isn't finished either. He's got some things to say about it as well. Of course, his bad start to the season. But yeah, Jared Fosbury, big name, down in 13th.
Yeah, it looks like, looking at it, Reese and Tom Jewell both collected Jared. Both have got, Reese has got massive front wing damage. Tom's missing one complete side of his end plate, so not the start that any of these 3 drivers would have wanted at all. Especially see where Adrian is.
Yes, they're going to be going away once again. The timings still haven't fixed themselves. Hopefully they'll fix going through the first sector. And it looks like they have. There's actually, yeah, Paco Suarez is legitimately up into P4. He started, if I just get the thing up, yeah, he started down in 8th, so he's had a great start for himself, as you can see the podium now already. He's actually down the inside, the Racing Point there. Adrian Lennon trying to make up a place on Paco Suarez, not able to do it. Louis Quinlan looking a little bit feisty as well, trying to capitalise, but not able to do anything, as they're going to stay as they are. Tim Brusilians right at the back of him. At the back, though, Reece March and Tom Jewell having to pit on the first lap. Looks like Jared Fosbury didn't have to, so maybe he didn't get any damage. I'm not sure if you know or not, Cameron. But
I think he just spun. Well, got collected even. But yeah, I think even if he has good damage, it's very minimal.
Well, regardless, then he is staying out anyway, so trying to to make up some places, certainly, is, of course, right now he'll be getting no points, and Adrian will be more than doubling the gap in the championship. So really not what Jared Fosbury needs, but Timber Saiyans is on the inside of Louis Quinlan there. This is for P6, and he's going to try and squeeze him out there at turn 4, and it looks like the move is going to be done. Louis Quinlan trying to stick with him here, but yeah, Timber Saiyans up into 6th place.
Good move. Action-packed first 3 laps.
Yeah, it actually really has. Of course, wouldn't really expect it too much. I mean, it has a long straight, but like we haven't even got DRS in activation. We've had many side-by-side battles, so with DRS you never know what could happen, as people are going to be getting closer together. DRS training certainly, but if they're able to fight this much without DRS, I think with it activated now going down the straight. Kieran Spears now, by the way, 1.2 seconds ahead of Adrian Villarreal, so he's making progress on the lead. Antonio Moretti is sticking with the championship leader in 3rd. Of course, he is a reserve, but he's still here, and looks like he's going to be looking for a win. The top 3 kind of gapping themselves from the rest of the grid. Paco Suarez falling off a little bit, 1.8 seconds, being pressured a little bit from Adrian Lennon as well. But Kieran's just really doing what he has to right now out in front.
Yeah, he's got a nice gap. He might have used a bit more ERS, but he's got that gap, and obviously he's got himself out of the DRS, which pushes Adrian back into the clutches of anyone behind, because obviously if anyone makes a mistake, then yeah, Adrian will be the one to be punished. But it looks like that Adrian's got quite a lot of ERS, so I think maybe he could pull up, but yeah, I think he might be playing the long game for now.
Yeah, there's well, nothing really actually happening. Of course, they've got DRS in activation now. People following pretty closely, to be fair, but no moves necessarily happening. Timber Saiyans quite close to the back of Adrian Lennon there. As you can see visually on the map, Kieran Spears really making gains on his lead. Adrian Villarreal getting pressured certainly from Antonio Moretti, who's been sticking with him in his DRS. 1.2 seconds the gap between the leader and 2nd place. Of course, looking at the guys who started on mediums, well, the only remaining guy on the mediums, Thiago Santos. For some reason I thought it was Silva last week, but it's not. It is Thiago Santos who is on the mediums. Of course, Adrian Villarreal's teammate as well, certainly going to be helping him out, I think. Doing the alternate strategy, going to be quicker at the end. Well, he's ahead of Jared Fosbury right now as well.
Louis just disconnected.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, he is allowed to join back if he can.
Yeah. Big shame for him though.
Yeah, here's Alan Wagner now. He's going to be making a pretty easy move on the AI. It's ghosted, so I mean, not really any challenge there. Just kind of took his normal line, and well, would you mind inviting him again in case he needs another invite?
Yeah, I can invite him.
There goes Thiago through him as well. So yeah, certainly losing quite a few places, which he really didn't need.
I think he had the DRS as well, which obviously for the train behind and himself, not what he wanted at all.
Oh, and actually, it looks like Adrian Villarreal's, well, he's certainly very close to getting the DRS back. He's kind of flirting with it at the moment. There's 1 point, there you go. Just in, I'm not sure if he's going to get it down this straight though. As we'll actually see in a few seconds. Yeah, he opens it up, so he's got that DRS back here, and Spears was able to pull a gap, but certainly not enough, as now Reece March is actually retired from the session. And the full safety car. Kieran Spears leading. Of course, Adrian Villarreal did close up to him a little bit. I think this would be a... well, no, it wouldn't. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if some people pit, because I don't really think it is time to pit right now. Even for Hards. Hards could probably make it, but it wouldn't be a great strategy.
A very big stretch, yeah. Very weird where he crashed out, because is it? I don't know where. It was
Yeah,
around
that was
about...
turn 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Well, it's definitely helped Tom, and maybe Louis if he does decide to join back in. I have sent him a few invites, but yeah, very helpful for Tom actually,
Yeah, and
and
Dominic
maybe even
Hurley,
for Jared.
who's been following behind him. They're both going to be able to catch up at least, and basically have a
Yeah,
free choice of tyre.
yeah.
Tom
Maybe this
Jewell
helps Jared as
picking the
well.
hards, so he's thinking to go to the end.
I think it's the right call, but also they will be a stretch to go with the end.
Actually, into the pits, well, they clearly think it's the right strategy. Kieran Spears, Adrian Villarreal, and Antonio Moretti, well, actually, the whole grid pretty much is into the pits. I think someone stayed out there. Thiago stayed out. He started on the mediums, of course, so why wouldn't he stay out? But I think pretty much everyone, Louis Quinlan also, well, his AI, of course, is going to stay out. That's kind of a rip for him. But, yeah, pretty much the entire grid thinking the hards is the way to go. Tim Brustalen's actually putting on the mediums. Same with Jared Fosbury.
Yeah.
Why? Well, Jared Fosbury not trusting the hards. He's clearly looking at one more stop at the end of this race, a 2-stop, of course. Well, that's very interesting. He's trying something different. He has to beat Adrian Villarreal today, like he really does. So he's obviously thinking that if he's going to beat him anyway, it's the 2-stop that's going to get him ahead of Adrian. So going to be very interesting to see how that plays out for Jared.
No, I've just noticed, well, Kieran's also on mediums while he was in the net lead. So, I mean, obviously he clearly thinks a 2-stop's a lot better as well. This is interesting. This is just throwing a spanner into the works.
Yeah, of course, Kieran Spears, you would expect he'll be able to pull the gap. Certainly well, maybe Thiago would hold him up. I mean, I'm sure he would. He's his teammate of Adrian Villarreal. If obviously got him in a bit of a sandwich here. But if Kieran Spears can make the move early on, once the safety car goes in, then I think he'll be able to make the gap pretty easily. But if he isn't able to get past early when those mediums are at their best, then it's going to be certainly an interesting thing to see, because then Kieran Spears' strategy would pretty much not really work.
Oh, Jared's coming to the pits.
Back into the pits. Most likely going for the hards instead. Yeah, there's the hards out.
I'm really confused by that.
Yeah, he was on the softs. Actually, maybe, yeah, because he was at the back of the train. So, as long as he comes out ahead of the other two, though, I don't think he will, you know.
He's lost positions.
Yeah, he's lost 2 more positions. I think he was thinking that he may as well have the 1-lap fresher hards, but he's just lost 2 more positions. I don't think he intended to lose the 2 more positions, but he did lose them.
Well,
to be honest, like I think going on mediums and then softs would have been the better strategy, because staying on hards, he has to pass everyone ahead of him, and the final one to pass would be his rival. So
yeah,
it's a big ask to pass that many people. If he was on mediums, at least he'd have a chance to pass them to begin with, and maybe be able to pass them again later on. But safety car actually in this lap, so it's all up to Thiago when he wants to go. Of course, there's unfortunately an AI in between the two, so, well, in between himself and Kieran. Kieran realistically is second unless Louis Quinlan can join back, but, yeah, it's not going to be the best for Kieran. Not necessarily going to be winning it on the restart, but there you go. He has actually bolted. Kieran Spears is going to be making a move on the AI. That's kind of illegal, but I mean, it is also an AI, so I guess if someone really wanted to report it, then okay. But yeah, we move. Thiago, of course, leading. Kieran Spears right behind him, and it looks like the strategy has kind of worked for Kieran, as he's gapping Adrian Villarreal behind him by a pretty decent amount, 9/10 already, so certainly getting a better restart than the guy behind him, as now you can see Kieran Spears really closing up. I think he might be going for a move into turn 9 here, or at least if he thinks it's on, I think he'll go for it, as he's really closing up here. I think he seems to want to make this move wherever he can. He's got a better exit, he's certainly got the better tires down the inside, or at least he looks at it. Scares Thiago a little bit into going straight on, but didn't actually make the move. As now I think he's kind of setting up, kind of scaring him very, very close to the gearbox of Thiago there, and he's going to be in the slipstream now. I think he's going to be using his ERS, and no DRS in activation right now, but I think he'll be able to make this move, as he's going to be closing on the back of Thiago going into turn 1. It's not actually going to be enough unless he dives it, and again he's not going to be able to do it. Thiago continues to lead this race. Certainly Kieran Spears, you can tell, is a lot quicker now. He's on the back of him, he's got a little bit extra speed, he's up on the curb even as well. No DRS in activation, but it's not going to matter for Kieran. Down the inside for the lead of this race as well, and he's going to be able to hang him out to dry up into the lead of this race. He got a penalty there, I think, going up on the curb, but
he had a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I don't know whether that's because of the overtook Luke. Oh, is Tim? Is that Tim? Tim's off.
That's Tim. Yeah, not out of this race, as Louis Gwyn's AI randomly pits for a fresh set of softs. Interesting.
Typical.
But yeah, so that's a 5-second then? It is.
Yeah, it's 5 seconds.
Well, that's interesting. Not sure if that'll get removed or not then.
Spun as well. Well, I'm wondering, will he save it in the pits? Because it doesn't say it's a stop go, but it is a 5 seconds, so maybe he does save it in the pits. And if so, that's gonna harm his race a lot.
Yeah, that really is. Of course, he needs to be making as much time as possible, and with another stop to make, not really going to be doing too much favours for him. And of course, he hasn't been able to gap Thiago yet. He really needs to start making progress on building up a lead to then go on the softs later on. Certainly without the penalty, it's not too bad of a position. Of course, leading on the mediums, but with the penalty, it does change a few things. Antonio Moretti, by the way, you can't count him out. He is right up the back of Adrian Villarreal, and of course, when the top two pit, he is going to be second in this race. He still has the DRS as well. Adrian Lennon has lost the DRS actually now, so Paco Suarez is going to be on the back of him. Them two were fighting earlier. Adrian Lennon seemingly getting ahead of Paco Suarez at some point. I can't really remember the overtake, but I'm sure it happened somewhere, maybe in the pit stops as well. But going down into turn 1 now, 7/10 between first and second. And actually, Adrian Villarreal almost losing DRS to his teammate there. Would be thinking his teammate would be keeping him in DRS, but he doesn't seem to care. He's getting on with it.
Maybe he just thinks he's quicker than Kieran, but he's burned his ear out. He's just left his team out to dry.
That's actually an overtake. Tom Jewell on Alan Wagner there. Both of them on the hards, of course. And Tom Jewell's going to go up into 7th place. I didn't quite see the overtake, but it did happen. Tom Jewell actually making quite a nice recovery. Of course, he was very much last by about half a minute. Certainly making up places up into 7th for himself, so not too bad.
Yeah, he's outside of DRS, but shouldn't take him too long, as obviously Tom has improved a lot for the season and started to become quite a very quick driver. So hopefully he should be able to pull the little train that he has behind him up to the back of Paco Suarez.
Yeah, if you're listening, Tom, just remember you have 2 poles and you won last race, so use that and go win now.
I think he has just been overtaken, though, if I'm not wrong. Was he in... Yeah, I believe he's just been overtaken again, so... I don't know, maybe they're working together.
Maybe. Of course, it's not doing too much favours for Paco Suarez, who's 1.9 seconds up the road, but if they can work together well enough, maybe they can make up a bit of a gap. Of course, Jared Fosbury actually right up the back of Tom Jewell. You can't You can't ignore this fight. Of course, this is second in the championship, trying to make up places on the hards. Interestingly, went on the hards. He actually lost the position to Tom because of that second stop. So he's not done himself too many favours, Jared, this race, but he's trying to make up for it now. Through the final corner. Bit of slipstream is all. Doesn't look like a move's going to happen this lap.
Interestingly, Thiago is sticking right with Kieran, even though his tyres are considerably older. And he's actually, I think he's pulling Adrian back into his own DRS, along with getting an extra slipstream from Kieran as well. So Thiago's doing a very good job for Adrian here.
Yeah, he really is. Not sure if he's intending it, or like, not sure if he wants Adrian to do well, or if he cares about the championship, because earlier he did actually break the DRS for a little bit, but certainly he is helping out his teammate regardless, whether he wants to or not, as it's allowing Adrian to stick with them in DRS. And of course Kieran Spears is not the main one, because Antonio Moretti is still in this train as well, this train of 4, currently going for the lead of the race, at least. Not necessarily race win, we'll see how that pans out later. And actually now he's broken the DRS there, 1 second gap there. So now it'll put Thiago a little bit vulnerable to his teammate.
Yeah, and the teammate has got 100% hers, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, will there be team orders, or will Thiago kind of move out of the way and help his teammate out, or is he going to fight this? That's the big question now, because it looks like Kieran, I mean, he's got such better tyres, there's no way he's going to let that gap go. I think he is going to start bolting now. And of course, you remember Antonio Moretti is on the back of these. If something happens between the two Hasses, or if they fight too much, he's certainly going to be there to capitalise on it as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Antonio's doing a very good job. He's obviously got a lot of ERS, same as Adrian, but these two drivers definitely look like they are one of the quickest on track at the minute.
Yes, I think this is going to be a
move
move here.
Past his teammate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy move. ERS in activation, of course, and yeah.
Slam dunk, easy move.
Of course, Kieran should still be able to pull a gap at this point. His mediums are certainly not getting old at this point. Like, there's going to be another few laps at least, maybe like 5 laps in, then we could start talking about maybe Adrian being on the better tyre, but at the moment you'd be expecting him still to be pulling some sort of a gap, and you can't count out as well when he's gone on the softs. He's going to have to do some overtaking though, because he'll be coming up behind that train of hard runners, that's pretty much down from 5th to actually Jared Fosbury in 9th. So
yeah, they've managed to catch up, and I did say they'd catch up. I didn't think it'd be this quick. There's a big train out behind Adrian. Yeah, this will be interesting.
Yeah, no one's seemingly really wanting to make a move, or at least going for it. Looking at the 2nd through 4th, nothing really happening between them either. I think Antonio has actually lost out the DRS to the guy in front of him. I think he still has it for this straight though, so maybe he's going to be able to keep it at least down through turn 4. But it is looking like he's going to be losing it very soon, unless he can start upping the pace a little bit. Of course, the one he's fighting for the lead, you can't forget, like, neither of them have penalties. If Antonio can make this move, of course it is Adrian's teammate he has to make the move on, so I don't think he's going to make it too easy, but if he can make it, then we have a fight for the lead, because no DRS for Adrian at the moment at least.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's going to be getting into it quite soon, as Kieran's tyres are obviously being on the soft compound and being, they're quite evenly matched, so being on the soft compound is obviously going to allow Kieran to just pull away that extra little bit.
I'm just going to make sure no overtake's going to be happening here. Doesn't really look like it, as Thiago kind of an even split between his teammate and the Ferrari behind him, as it seems they're going to be kind of continuing as they are. Actually, Jared Fosbury kind of close to the back of Tom Julie. He's going to be looking down the inside into turn 1, but nothing is going to happen of it, and he's going to have to stick behind for a little bit longer, as he's going to be going through turn 4 now. We'll see if any move's going to happen, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Still 9th for Jared. Really not the race he needed today.
Oh, Tom nearly lost on the exit of on the curb. Got way too much. Trying to go way onto. Oh, I can't even talk. Got onto the curb way too much, and luckily he caught it. But I think it should be good. But yeah, it's like you said, Jared, really not the race he wanted. This is probably the worst case scenario for Jared's outcomes.
Yeah, and of course Adrian, his not teammate, his rival, looking at a win with Kieran's penalty as well. It looks like a comfortable enough win. He has his teammate behind him as well. His teammate's probably going to be pitting in the next lap or two. 19 laps now on those mediums, so eventually it's just going to become bad to be staying out. Of course, Antonio hasn't been able to make a move on him yet. He really does need to make a move very soon to keep with the DRS of Adrian Villarreal, to keep himself in contention for the win. Still no penalties for either of them. Kieran, of course, with that 5 second, wherever he got it from, seemingly from passing Louis AI, who is, of course, last now. It's not a good day for the Mercs either, with his teammate also DNFing. As they approach the final corner once again, Antonio might actually be able to make a move here. He's closed up a lot. I think Antonio, well, he would make a move if Thiago didn't pit at least. And yeah, into the pits.
Yeah. Weirdly, he kept up like quite well, so maybe he's a tyre saving god, but it seems as that Thiago's got a lot of pace in him, so when he comes out on a soft speed, quite exciting to see how much he can catch up to the back of Jared Fosbury.
Yeah, certainly would be. Of course, emerging in 9th, he has a train of 5 cars to pass, and then he can start maybe looking at a podium again, but of course, well, yeah, actually, this train will be for the podium once Kieran pits, so yeah, he's in contention for a podium at least once he catches up, but it's really a question of how quickly he catches up, because once those softs start going off, it becomes kind of a bit of a pain to make overtakes, but when they're fresh, certainly going to be helping out.
Yeah, and Kieran picked up a 3-second time out, so he's now got 8 seconds. I thought he was about to come in, he just baited me. Yeah, I'm still very intrigued as whether this 5 seconds will be served in the pits or after the race. But for now, he's got 8 seconds. Don't know whether he'll get it removed. Should probably get it removed, but if he doesn't, then yeah, 8 seconds. That means the podium is wide open for anyone.
Yeah, it really is. Of course, Adrian Lennon putting himself in contention down the inside for Alan Wagner between himself and Paco Suarez, still side by side through turn 5. I'm not sure who's going to come out on top of this, as Paco's still trying to hang it in there on the inside, but no, Alan Wagner is going to be able to make the move. Paco Suarez has to back out. So actually a little bit of activity finally from this train, as the McLaren making his way to a podium, and of course the other McLaren leading this race 1.8 seconds now, so he has been able to gap the Haas a little bit more, but when he pits, I mean, he'll be in 9th, most likely, because Thiago will probably, well, no, most definitely undercut him.
He's coming to the pits now.
So now,
that was very close to speed in.
Yeah, now it's really a question of if this 5-second penalty is going to get served now or later, as he's going to go into the pits, and yes, it's been served now.
That is cruel. That is cruel. It looks... Whoa, it's going to be close between him and Thiago. Never mind.
No.
Oh, crash! There's been a crash! Jared's out!
Himself and Tom Jewell actually involved in something there. As you can see, Tom Jewell is off. He doesn't have a wing, or at least not... Yeah, no, he doesn't have a wing. So something happening there between Tom Jewell and Jared Fosbury. As we were watching Kieran, that's very... that's probably the worst timing, really, for something to happen. A full safety car.
This has played into Adrian's hands beautifully. Oh, that is got him, Kieran. He will be devastated.
Yeah. I mean, imagine one more lap he could have pit this lap.
Oh,
well, there's safety car, but no.
Wow. Well then, I don't even know what happened, but things go bad from worse for Jared.
Yeah, and of course Adrian's going to be able to pit and come out in the lead. Antonio Moretti's going to be right at the back of him, so that's certainly something that's going to change a little bit. Adrian Lennon actually getting a wing change. Maybe he was involved in something as well, or maybe he's just running with a small bit of damage. Who knows, really, because he was leading the train. But as they catch up to the safety car now, Tom Jewell, of course, getting a new wing, or at least an entire new wing, because his last wing didn't exactly have much of a wing left of it. It had a nose cone. But yeah.
Well,
mediums for Adrian Lennon.
Maybe he thinks softs are going to be dropping off towards the end, or maybe he doesn't have a fresh set of softs. I don't know. I think it's quite a silly thing to do.
It should be softs, because I mean, Thiago pit a few laps ago as well. He's in third, by the way.
You could do like 15 laps on a set of like worn softs, so maybe he doesn't have any fresh ones, and they just but yeah, I mean, Thiago really worked out well for him, but I mean, Kieran has not worked out well at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst case scenario. I mean, he obviously could have been leading. Not sure if the 5-second penalty would get served in the pits under safety car or not. I'm not sure if that was like a 2019 thing or what game that was, but
yeah, I'm not sure either. So maybe he wouldn't have been in first after all.
Yeah. Looking at it though, fourth. I mean, he can't really be complaining too much, because you look at it. I mean, he has an entire train that he no longer has to pass. So I mean, that's something. He has to pass Thiago, who he was ahead of, but everyone behind him would have been ahead of him in the other scenario. So I mean, still looking at a podium. He does have that 3-second. That is legitimate. Like, I mean, there's no getting rid of that. But unless it was like very specific circumstances that he got one of the warnings, but generally a warning wouldn't be removed unless it was like fighting a car, and even then sometimes it doesn't. So it's like, yeah, gonna have to hope that other people get warnings themselves, which I kind of doubt people do. Kind of looks like people have been pretty clean with their cutting.
And while you were on that, everyone is now on softs other than Louis' AI. Quite typical of the AI from Cody's there, but yeah, Adrian coming into the pits. I think Tim might have come back in again, unless he was already out on a set of softs. But it looks like everyone is now on a set of softs.
Yeah, Tim had that incident or whatever out of turn 5, so he was kind of already there.
It's a late call.
Yeah, it was a very late call. But of course, Adrian is going to be the one to lead them away. The two Hasses in a very good position as well. Actually, it's kind of like a car park right now, kind of looking like Italy a few years back in real life. But Yeah, it looks like he's going to bring this to the line, as now he's going to bolt. The Ferrari behind him wasn't quite ready for it. He's going to have to stick behind for now. The two McLarens getting close. Thiago actually looking down the inside a little bit through turn 1, and actually down the inside certainly for Paco Suarez. Round the outside of Alan Wagner, side by side between them. Of course, Alan Wagner made the overtake a little earlier in the race. Paco Suarez, of course, has been given an opportunity. He is actually going to look down the inside. Very, very risky moves there on the inside. Luckily, no damage for either of them, or no one going round. Very respectful between the two, but yeah, no move for Paco Suarez. Alan Wagner is going to stay ahead, as now Kieran Spears looking for a move back on Thiago, who he lost it to through the safety car and kind of his 5-second penalty as well. But he's certainly looking for this move. There's actually a little bit of contact, and he's round. An incident, of course, between himself and Thiago. Thiago was looking at a podium, no longer. Of course, his teammate Alan Wagner is just behind. It's kind of gifted him a podium now, because Kieran does have that penalty. Antonio Moretti now looking for this win. He's within the DRS, but, well, I mean, Thiago's going to be furious with that going round like that. And, yeah, he's out of the points now. I mean, he'll get a point back because of Louis Quinlan, but it's not really the point. He's lost so much.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened. It looked as if he went defensive, and then maybe he went, like, drift out wide. And, well, I mean, Kieran maybe just a bit too aggressive. But I don't know. I caught it late, so I can't really say. Yeah,
it was the front wing of Kieran Spears that clipped Thiago's rear, and just enough contact to spin him round. Of course, it was kind of like it was a late decision to go for a move. It was actually Kieran looking at a move, but didn't quite work out for him, obviously. And, well, Thiago is now down in 11th, so
it's a big shame for Thiago.
And it looks like, yeah, Antonio Moretti's actually lost the DRS. Kieran Spears, however, I mean, he's had an incident a few moments ago, but that doesn't really matter to him. He's set the fastest lap of this race. Of course, he has 1 lap older tyres than everyone else around him as well, because he pit a lap before the safety car, which he's not going to be too happy about, but yeah. Running third at the moment, not going to be looking at a podium unless he can gap the guys behind enough, but certainly looking at an overtake on Antonio Moretti as he goes through turns 6 and 7. And I think he is he's looking at a move down the inside. Kind of looks pretty similar to the move he made on Thiago, and that didn't go so well, but he's tried it nonetheless. Didn't quite work out for him, and he's going to have to stick behind a little bit longer as Antonio Moretti goes a little bit wide. Of course, this is going to help Adrian Villarreal to get a little bit of a gap in front. And I think this move is going to be happening now. Antonio Moretti ahead, slipstream for Kieran Spears, and he's going to be on the inside pretty easily. A 3-second penalty, again a second 3-second penalty from the McLaren driver as he goes down the inside and makes the move on Antonio Moretti, getting it on a flat corner, which is very interesting. Obviously getting up on the curb a little bit too much, but he makes the move nonetheless, and he can chase after Adrian Villarreal for the race lead, but not necessarily win, because 6 seconds depends now. Is actually down the inside. Is that Tom Jewell? It is actually Tom Jewell on Paco Suarez, and it looks like he's made the move unless Paco can do anything as he's trying to come back at him, but no, it's a little bit of ERS, I think, there. Usage from Tom Jewell, and he's going to be able to go up to 5th now. A very good recovery drive from Tom Jewell after being lost by so much. And, well, I mean, he's threatening the top 4 positions now.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a lot of pace. He's obviously just, well, I mean, he might be using his ERS, but he's just cut down a gap 3-4 times already. So maybe Tom could be challenging for a late last-ditch effort of a podium.
Yeah, maybe. If he keeps this up, certainly. He's got 7 laps left, so can't count it out. Anything can happen in 7 laps. Of course, plenty of stuff happening in the earlier laps, and it's kind of the same now. It's actually been quite an entertaining race to be commentating over. It's actually down the inside. That's someone in the background. That's Adrian Lennon on Dominic Hurley or the other way around, I'm not really sure, but regardless, Adrian Lennon is going to be going up into 8th place. A little bit pressured from Dominic Hurley though. Dominic's going to try and come back at him up on the grass a little bit as well on the inside, and he's going to be able to make that move, but a switchback move from Adrian Lennon. This is a great fight for 8th place, and Adrian Lennon is going to be able to get up back into 8th place. And actually now Antonio Moretti, yes, side by side for the podium place now. Antonio Moretti trying to get back on Kieran Spears after losing the position a lap ago, and it's looked like, yep, he's going to be able to make that move and back up into 2nd place. Alan Wagner now getting involved in this fight for 2nd.
And Kieran picked up another time penalty, so disastrous from him. He's going to drop a lot of places. Yeah, really not what he wanted. He's going to, I think he's going to fight Antonio again. Antonio's going to, he's going to know your ass.
Yeah,
still going to try it, though, round the outside.
And actually, simultaneously, down the inside for Tom Jewell, going for P4. In the background, a little bit of contact, yes. Antonio actually round for Kieran Spears into the wall, out of this race.
Completely.
A virtual safety car to compensate for it, so I mean, he was going to drop down quite a few positions anyway. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't finished 90% of the race, so he's not going to score any points. But, well, actually spinning on his own, just he got up on the curb. And didn't work out for him. So it kind of gives Antonio Moretti a little bit of breathing room to himself. And Antonio Moretti, after Antonio had to fight Tom Jewell off a little bit as well. Tom Jewell, I don't think, will be too happy with the timing of the virtual safety car as Kieran Spears leaves the session, of course. But yeah, just on his own. No one provoked him or anything. He just spun on his own.
Well, now battle for 2nd place is now from wide open. Only Antonio is the car. There's no Kieran to defend from any cars behind.
And here goes Tom Jewell already on the outside. A side-by-side between himself and Alan Wagner. This is now for a podium place for Tom Jewell. I don't think he would have been thinking he'd be anywhere near here at the start of this race. On the outside, inside for the next corner, lovely helicopter shot as they leave each other room still. Side-by-side between the two. Very, very respectful driving as he's going to open up DRS. Going down the straight. Still side-by-side trying to keep a wing there, but Alan Wagner's going to be able to come out on top. A nice bit of fighting from the two. Tim Brusain's not too far off. And a penalty for Tom Jewell.
I think that's just throwing his chance away. Same as Paco Suarez. Paco Suarez got to drive through, so... Yeah. Unfortunately for those two, I think they've just thrown it away. Tim looks to be quite rapid, though, at the minute. He's on the back of Tom. Maybe they're going to work together to try and get Tim up into a podium position.
They may well be doing that. Antonio Moretti now has been... Oh, another safety car?
Wait. What?
Wait, for what?
For what?
For nothing. Just a safety car. Just, the game felt like it. Okay.
But man, I didn't get enough miles in the safety car. Get him out.
I don't think Paco's allowed to serve his drive-thru, is he?
Nope. Nope, well, he's coming in.
Unfortunate timing.
This has helped
3-second penalty for Dominic Hurley.
Well, actually, to be fair, maybe... Wow, I think they've got deltas. I don't even think Thiago will be able to catch up.
Well,
where?
I mean, they've caught the safety
Why?
car now. Thiago, of course, down in 10th. Everyone pretty much, everyone will be getting a point regardless now of what happens. Even if they DNF, they'll still get a point, at least. Paco Suarez trying to catch back up on the fresh softs, but he still has to serve his drive-thru pretty much instantly when the safety car is in. Well, I mean, I guess it gives Antonio Moretti a second chance at the lead of the race.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how that kind of carries on for the last few laps. The safety car will not be going in this lap, so Thiago will be able to catch up at least. So that's not the worst scenario, I guess. Thiago certainly won't be complaining.
He's on the freshest softs as well, other than Paco, but Paco has to serve a drive-through, so... They won't get many laps of racing, though.
I think he might pit, you
get
know.
2. Oh dear.
No, he didn't.
Tom.
Yeah.
Tom's just got a 5-second pen.
Interestingly, Wagner didn't. Usually it's both people who get the 5 seconds. But
yeah.
Gives a little less hassle for Allen to be removing a 5 second.
Wow. I mean, I just want to know why the safety car come out. Everything looked fine on track, so...
Yeah, no, there's too much rubber on the track, I think.
Alright, Louis Cullen's AI's done something magical. I really don't see why there is a safety car. Mind-boggling. And they're going to get 2
Adrian,
laps.
I think, just got up beside the safety car there. Doing a little bit of a Hamilton,
There was
to hurry up,
Hamilton-esque.
maybe. Yeah.
It should be in this lap.
It should be.
So,
I guess, once everyone's caught up as well, so there's no reason for it to not. Especially with there only being 2 laps of racing. Yeah, there you go, in this lap. So it's all up to the championship leader. He's going to be able to extend his lead by 25 points if he can keep it like this, if he can keep Antonio Moretti behind. Antonio Moretti with a second chance, I think, is going to go for whatever's there. As he slows the grid down, as he did last time, fully entitled to do. The Ferrari up alongside him a little bit, almost. And I think he has bolted now. The Ferrari hasn't got the best restart, as they're going to be going through to turn 1 side by side between actually the 2 Alpha Tauris there. Tom Jewell on the inside, he's still fighting his team, and actually up on the curb, loses it a little bit side by side now with the Racing Point, and a little bit of contact as well. That's Tim Mercedes with his teammate. So certainly the AlphaTauri guys not doing each other any favours. Paco Suarez trying to get involved in this. I think he's had a little bit of damage there. He has actually hit the back of Timber Stalins there. As we did get a bit of a camera shot from the back of Tim Mercedes' car. He just didn't brake early enough, it seems. But now going through, of course, there's 1 lap left, and Paco's gone straight into the wall.
Yep.
Well, that's 5 penalty points, and Jared will not be too happy with that. That's Jared keeps talking about if Paco gets any more penalty points. That's a guaranteed 5 penalty points. Also putting him on 19 penalty points overall, I think. So that's actually a race ban for Paco, so he's really not doing himself any favours, as Antonio Moretti's going to be closing up to the back of Antonio... No, he won't. Oh my god. He's going to be closing up to the back of Adrian Villarreal, going through turns 2 and 3. He's got 1 more chance, pretty much. 1 down this straight and 1 going up to the line. It's going to be really, if he can get close enough to make a move. In the background there, I think someone was going side by side. Dominic Hurley trying it on Timber Stalins there, but I don't think anything has actually been able to come from it, as he's going to have to stick behind. Tom Jewell now down to 4th. He's going to drop to 6th, I think, overall. Unless Thiago's going to be able to get in to the range. But last lap now, Adrian Villarreal has led pretty much all this race, or at least in a net lead, being on the hards earlier on. He's going to be coming through the final corner. Antonio Moretti looks a little bit too far back unless he has something up his sleeve. But if nothing else is going to happen, it's going to be Adrian Villarreal to take the win, as he's going to be approaching the line through the final corner, and it is going to be the championship leader extending his championship lead by a full 25 points. Antonio Moretti is going to take his first podium of the season, I think it is, and of course in 3rd Alan Wagner in the McLaren, after his teammate has had that incident. So Thiago, the driver of the day, I mean, I would have given it to him if he was able to do just a little bit better. I mean, it was no fault of his own, really, but at the top step, of course, Adrian Villarreal and Antonio Moretti in second and Wagner in third, as they're going to be spraying the champagne. Adrian's certainly going to be happy with this win.
Yeah, and obviously extends his gap to Jared Fosbury, just meaning that Adrian's that one step closer to actually securing that title.
Yeah, 40 points now, the gap. So, actually, next week, round 10, 11, 12, won't be able to secure it next weekend. Well, actually, no, would he? Yeah, if he can actually get... Yeah, if he can outscore Jared Fosbury by, like, 12 points, then I think he would win it, being 52 points ahead of Jared Fosbury. So, of course, regardless, it's Adrian Lennon, oh my god, Adrian Villarreal taking the win ahead of Antonio Moretti. I hope I stop doing that for next week. In third, it's Alan Wagner. Fourth, Adrian Lennon. Fifth, Tim Brustain. Sixth is Thiago. Actually, decent recovery from him, to be fair. Tom Jewell drops to seventh with his few penalties. Dominic Hurley in eighth. Louis Quillen ninth, but that is his AI. Paco Suarez going to actually be taking the ninth, and then Kieran Spears, Jared Fosbury and Reece March all DNFing, the big DNF. So Jared Fosbury, going to be interesting to see what actually happened. Tom Jewell seemingly involved in it. Of course, he was the one with no wing. So yeah, certainly going to be interesting to see what comes of that.
Yeah, action-packed race. Lots and lots of front wings gone. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what actually happened in some of the incidents with, like, Thiago, Jared obviously crashing out. Yeah. But good race.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly get to top three and for interviews. What I thought it would be, so yeah. So we have well, actually the top two. So yeah, well, I guess we'll start then, Adrian, if we have you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Of course, you took a win today. It wasn't without it's not like you didn't have to work for it. Of course, you were under pressure from Kieran. You took pole, lost it on the start, and well, in the end, with a few safety cars, you came out on top. How How was your race?
Yeah, it was a good race. It was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Ablaze and to Company for the podium. Um, yeah, I think the race pace was okay. The qualifying was good, and I don't know, man. I just really like wasn't expecting this because I wasn't practicing a lot. Like I was finishing my semester now, and I just graduated, and I went to like a big party last night, and I'm pretty hungover right now, so like I don't even know how like I won this right now, bro. But like, anyway, yeah, thank you, and congrats to the other guys.
Yeah, your race in general, though, not all too much to talk about. I mean, under the safety car, you pitted for hards. That turned out to be very much the right strategy, and yeah, you just kind of took the win. I mean, not really much else to say about it. Was there any doubt in your mind that you'd end up being beaten? Of course, Kieran Spears went for the mediums. Do you think, like before he got the penalty, that maybe he could beat you coming back, or were you confident in your pace?
I thought he could beat me before any safety car came out, because at the start I was trying to get the DRS, and I think he just had more race pace at the beginning on the soft. So if we were just to do like a regular soft medium, if I don't do like an undercut on him, maybe he would have won. But then when I saw he went on the medium, I think it'd be pretty hard to do a two stop from there. So yeah, only at the beginning I thought maybe he was gonna win, and then at the end with a blaze too, it was pretty close.
Yeah, of course. In the end, it did work out for you. Was there any as well? Was there any like communication between you and your teammate, or not? Because it seemed like your teammate didn't really want you to keep in the DRS at least, and it looked like he kind of planned on fighting you. In the end, it was pretty easy overtake. But was there any communication there, or?
No, there was no communication. I think he was just doing his own race, which is fine. I think he was on older tires, like older mediums. So I think just the tire advantage helped me overtake him in the end.
Okay. Next week, of course, is Canada, if I'm not wrong. I'll check.
You're correct.
Yeah, it is Canada. So, how do you think you'll do around Canada? Of course, next week, if you outscore Jared Fosbury by 12 points, by the way, you'll be able to seal the championship. So.
Okay, so then I'll just aim for like P5 or something. I'm not sure. Just like I'm not trying to get any penalties or anything. So I don't like that track at all. But we'll see.
Okay. Congratulations on the win. Then good luck for next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll let you take Antonio then for second.
Okay. So, Antonio, not quite the race win today, but pace up pretty strong. How do you feel like the race went for yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do much practice for today, so I wasn't expecting much. And I've DNF'd out of most races, so P2 was fine.
Did you feel like at any point in the race, obviously, I believe you went for the hards with Adrian. Do you feel like maybe the people who went for the mediums would have caught up to you at the end, like Karen said with Adrian, or do you think that you and Adrian had it covered?
I think we had it covered. I thought I had him in the bits, but he ghosted into me, and he had the better pace overall. So I don't think I had the pace for the win today.
Well, your pace certainly looks strong. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's anything else for me to say. Kevin, is there any questions?
Well, I mean, I guess, like, obviously the start of the season wasn't all too good for you. I think certainly if things were different, maybe you could still be here, like, in the fight for the championship. I think you were certainly capable of it, but things just didn't work out for you, and then I guess that's part of the reason why you dropped to reserve. But certainly, I think, like, would this maybe be a bit of a turning point, getting this podium? Obviously, you're reserve. I'm not sure if you're going to be racing the last few races, but
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, really intense, trying to keep up with them, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So we'll see.
Okay then. I guess we'll go on to third place then. I think there was some issues with hearing. Right now I can't, unless if you can say something, Alan. Okay, seemingly no. He did message me saying that, like, if I can hear him, but right now I can't. So,
Issues. Maybe.
yeah, I'll just see if he messages me, but if not, then I guess we'll just finish up.
Did he message you on PSN?
Discord, he said if he could be heard in interviews or not.
Can't hear
Oh, there we go.
anything you're saying,
Oh,
like, at all. I know you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Maybe tell him to leave and rejoin. I don't know.
Oh, whoops. Hang on. He is messaging.
Never had this issue before.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, just write the questions in the chat.
Alright then. I guess I'll say them as well. But I guess then, how did... Well, jeez, this is a little different, I won't lie.
It's like having an interpreter.
Yeah, it kind of is. Okay. So I've basically said, how did your race go? Do you think you could have won in the end? And how do you think you'll do in Canada? So there you go.
Just need to wait for the interpreter
Yeah.
and then the response.
Okay, so you can hear me. Well, my start was shit. I got hit in turn 4 by someone, I don't know, because IRL Neon was very slow mid-corner and I had to back off massively. And then I just got hit, went wide and lost a few positions. But after that it just went uphill. So I got lucky with the safety cars, because it took me a lot of ERS and a lot of time to get out of the DRS train with, I think, Paco and another one, I don't know his name. And then the safety car came out, which was very lucky because I got to go on softs. And then Kieran took in front of me Thiago and then himself out. So yeah, I would have been P5 if it wasn't for that. So I think I'm pretty lucky this race. But I'm going to drop down due to a penalty I received last time, which was questionable. But yeah, I think in Canada I won't be as good due to penalties and due to me not liking the track. So yeah.
Okay, so that was kind of like an interpreter kind of thing there, answer. But yeah, that was of course Alan's thoughts on the race then. So that'll be it for the stream. So of course next week we'll see if Adrian Villarreal can finish up the championship over Jared Fosbury. Jared still in with a chance, but ever slimmer, of course, 12 points. The difference, and then Adrian can finish it up. So we'll see what will happen next week. Of course, next week being Canada, Certainly, track will see some penalties in, some fighting maybe as well. So yeah, hopefully it's a good race there, as good as Brazil. That has been myself and Cameron, and we'll maybe see you next week. Maybe not. Just kind of depends on Lordy. But yeah, good night.